So today is April 30th, and we are hosting a MyGinnieMae portal end user training for our document custodians. All portal users are welcome to participate today, but we will be providing some information that is slightly catered to our document custodians, although broadly available to or applicable to all portal users. Again, today's session is focusing on our end users. An end user is any user of the portal who needs to access the GinnieMae business application. And we'll talk a little bit more about that right now. Next slide. So today, again, my name is Letitia Jefferson, and I'm the Customer Experience Group Lead at GinnieMae. I am joined by a couple of our technical experts from the Bank of New York Mellon. Wade Gale and Tawhid Ali are on the line, and they'll assist us when we get to the question and answer session. But before we get there, we're going to do an overview of MyGinnieMae. We're going to talk to you about the Getting Started User Manual. What is MyGinnieMae, why we're changing, how it's changing, what functional roles are, what your role is. We're going to give you a video demonstration on how you register for an account in MyGinnieMae and then proceed to log in and access the dashboard and business applications that are available to you. And we're going to talk about how you get started. We're going to give you some tips on how to avoid some pitfalls. We're going to show you what self-help tools are available and talk to you about the Oracle Mobile Authenticator, which will be an important resource for you. Then we'll talk about where you can go for more information, quick reference cards and training videos. This training presentation and the recording from today's training will be made available on the modernization page of the GinnieMae website. So we'll talk to you about how to get to those resources, and then we'll open it up for a question and answer session. You're free to ask us any questions that you might have about this effort and the portal. Next slide. Okay, so real quick before we get started, the information that we're going to cover today in this training presentation is from the MyGinnieMae Getting Started User Manual. This user manual is located on GinnieMae.gov, our website. There you can find this manual, quick reference cards, and other resources which provide you step-by-step instructions on pretty much any action you'll need to take in MyGinnieMae, including logging in and resetting passwords. We have a quick shot of some items that are in the table of contents included in the MyGinnieMae Getting Started User Manual, and a screenshot of kind of what those instructions are. You can see there's step-by-step instructions with screenshots that'll walk you through how to complete these actions. So while we're giving you a great overview today and we're happy to be here, we want you to know that there is a fantastic user manual available for you to answer many of the questions that you might have as you're navigating through the portal. Next slide. So what is MyGinnieMae? So MyGinnieMae is a portal, think of it like a house, that provides enhanced security and a single entry point to all of the applications that you will need to access. So this means just one username and password get you in to access all of the business applications and all of the organization or issuer IDs that you need access to. What you'll do is you'll walk in through this very secure front door of the MyGinnieMae house using a username and password and a one-time PIN. And once you get in the front door of that house, any rooms that you need to access in order to do business with GinnieMae, for example, if you need to get to our legacy GMAP 1.0, where RFS and whatnot are housed, if you need to get to GinnieNet, in order to do pooling, and for our document custodians, in order to do that certification, you are able to do that going through MyGinnieMae. Those systems remain unchanged. Our modernized applications have been added. If you need to access them, the access will be available to you. But the bottom line is you only need one username and password to access all of the systems and all of the issuer IDs that you need to access. So it's a house. MyGinnieMae is a house with a very secure front door that gets you access to all of these rooms known as applications that you'll need to access to do business with us. Okay, next slide. So why make this change? Security, security, security. So folks, we need to adhere to federal security controls, and MyGinnieMae is our answer to make sure that we are in line with those federal security controls and to make sure that we are putting the proper security on the business transactions that you are conducting with us. So there are some additional features and benefits to making these changes. Single sign-on. Again, for those of you that may have had multiple user IDs based on, the system or the issuer you were trying to do business, under, you no longer have to do that. Your username, which is your corporate email address, gets you access to all of those systems. All you got to do is walk in through that front door of MyGinnieMae with the proper credentials, and you'll have access to all of those systems. It also introduces multi-factor authentication. You have encountered this already in your personal and likely in your work lives. This is when you enter a username and a password, and then it prompts you to enter a PIN or one-time PIN, which can be sent either to your email account or to a smart device if you register for the Oracle Mobile Authenticator. And you take that PIN, plug it in the box, and now you are in. That is what we call multi-factor authentication. So it requires many factors: username, password, one-time PIN in order to get in. We also are introducing what are called functional roles. And what this means for your, the administrators at your organization is that they don't have to be concerned with knowing each and every system and application that you need access to, especially as we modernize our applications. What they need to know is what your business function and your responsibilities are. They assign you a functional role that corresponds to those responsibilities. And then GinnieMae on the back end will make sure that you, through that functional role, are provided the access that you need to do that job. So as we introduce a new application, a document custodian module, once we introduce those things, they will be made available to the people who need them through that functional role assignment. We also have introduced an invitation model. This is an automated workflow that we're going to demonstrate for you in just a few moments to help you register for an account in MyGinnieMae and to also request those functional roles and get those assigned to you. Your administrators, formerly known as security officers and enrollment administrators, have a huge role to play in making sure that you get an account, you get a functional role, and that you are able to manage that account for the life of the time that you need to be doing business with us through MyGinnieMae. Next slide. So how is the portal changing? So our legacy environment, which is our GMAP 1.0 and GinnieNet, is a little bit different than our modernized environment, MyGinnieMae, in a number of ways. So in our legacy environment, GinnieMae admins at the Bank of New York Mellon on behalf of GinnieMae provided access to the users in your organization and to you as an end user. That is no longer true. Now it's the organization administrator, formerly known as security officer and enrollment administrator, that provides you, the end user, that access. Okay, so they create the account for you in MyGinnieMae. They are also in our legacy systems, issuers needed to provide access to the users in their sub-servicer organizations. That's no longer true. Now sub-servicers have their own org admins and manage their own employees. In our legacy environment, you would go directly to the URL for that system, whether it was GinnieNet or GMAP, to log in. In MyGinnieMae, you go through MyGinnieMae. You go to my.ginniemae.gov, and when you log in there, you will gain access to GMAP 1.0 and GinnieNet. So it's just, going through MyGinnieMae gets you to those legacy systems rather than going to those old URLs. In legacy environments, you had a username and a password to get into the system. In MyGinnieMae, you also have to add that one-time PIN. That's that multi-factor authentication that makes the transaction that much more secure. Our legacy environment, the access that you needed was identified by the application or the system. You needed to know exactly which systems, which modules, and what type of access you needed. In MyGinnieMae, like I said, that's determined by a functional role. So all you need to know is what is your business function, what is your responsibility, and that functional role is assigned. and you have all of the system access that you need provided to you. In our legacy environment, you had a separate username and password for every single system you needed to use to do business with GinnieMae. In MyGinnieMae, it's just one username, one password. And that username is the same when you're using your RSA token. If you're an authorized signer that has to use an RSA token, when it asks you for a username, that username is the same username that you used to log into MyGinnieMae. That username is your corporate email address, okay? In our legacy environment, whether if you needed password and profile management activities performed, meaning you needed to reset your password, update your business title or phone number, any of those changes had to be done by GinnieMae admins at the Bank of New York on behalf of GinnieMae. That is no longer true. In MyGinnieMae, you can reset your own password. If you have forgotten your password, you can select a forgot password function on the login screen to reset your password. If you need to update your business title or your phone number, you can do all of that on your own. If you need to add an RSA token, you can contact your organization administrator and they can assist with adding your RSA token to your profile. All of these functions you are able to complete without having to contact GinnieMae customer support. Next slide. So let's talk a little bit about some of these roles and responsibilities. You've heard me throw around a few user types and I'm going to explain those. I'm going to start with you, the end user, okay? An end user is any user of MyGinnieMae who needs access to a business application, okay? So if you need access to GinnieNet, if you need access to GMEP 1.0 or to MFPDM, if I have any multifamily issuers on the line, you are an end user of the portal. Okay, it's just that simple. You are an end user because you access business applications, okay? Now, just above that is an organization administrator. These are the folks that were formerly known as security officers and enrollment administrators, and they have administrative privileges to create, to provide access, functional roles, and to manage end user accounts in their organization. Okay. Now, an organization administrator could also be an end user. So maybe you're responsible for, onboarding users into your organization, but you also need to complete some business functions and have access to GinnieNet. You can be both, and you are both still through one username and one password. Okay, so you don't need to create multiple accounts to have that separated access. It's provided to you as a security privilege in MyGinnieMae. Operations administrators are the folks at the Bank of New York Mellon on behalf of GinnieMae that oversee the portal. They have general oversight responsibilities of MyGinnieMae. They do not have the responsibility of managing end user access. That is now the responsibility of organization administrators in MyGinnieMae. Now, there is something that I need to note about organization administrators and their responsibilities. MyGinnieMae has a workflow built into it that requires a separation of duties. So what that means is your organization administrators, if they want to create an account for you, one organization administrator has to request that that account be created. A second organization administrator must approve that account being created. If you need a functional role assigned to you, one organization administrator must request that functional role, and a second organization administrator must approve that functional role. That is the separation of duties and the checks and balances that are built into the workflows in these systems, and why your organization administrators become so important to your system access in MyGinnieMae. Next slide. Okay, so a little bit more about functional roles. As I mentioned, end users are provided access based on their business activities, okay? And these activities have been organized into roles called functional roles. We have a functional role matrix that is published on the modernization page of GinnieMae.gov that outlines every single role that is available to our external users. But here is a subset of those roles. We have roles for single family, multifamily, HECM, sub-servicers, and document custodians. I'm going to drop straight to the bottom of this list and show you. One of the document custodian functional roles that is available is pool certification and collateral release management authorized signer. Okay, so this is the person who is who has the authority of the HUD 11702 to act as a signatory. Okay, and they get all the rights and responsibilities that a basic user with this functional role would have, plus the authority to submit the initial and final certification and recertification. Okay, so if you are that person that is responsible for submitting, you would be provided this functional role in order to complete those duties. And all of the systems that you need access to, such as GinnieNet, to complete that responsibility will be provided to you because you have this role. That is how functional roles work in the MyGinnieMae portal. Next slide. So I'm going to again go over that onboarding workflow that I just explained a moment ago before we demonstrate for you how this works in the system. So there are two workflows here that are in play. One of them is the registration workflow. This is the workflow that allows for an account to be created for you in MyGinnieMae. Then there's also the access workflow. And this is the workflow that allows for a functional role to be assigned to you in MyGinnieMae. Once your account has been created, a functional role can be assigned at any point in time. So if in the future you need an additional functional role assigned, it's that access workflow that your organization administrators are going to have to engage in order to get you that functional role. But when you put it all together, it is the onboarding workflow that we are trying to complete for MyGinnieMae onboarding right now. And here's where it begins. On the far left side of the screen, you'll see that little blue person. That is organization administrator number 1. And that org admin has made a request for a new account. They go into MyGinnieMae, they submit that request, and what happens is an email is sent to the potential end user. That's you. So you can expect that once your organization administrators get access to MyGinnieMae, they're going to start sending these invitations to you. That email invitation will have a link in it. You will select that link and complete the new user registration form. It is important that you know that link is only valid for 24 hours. If you do not respond within 24 hours, the link will no longer be valid and you will need to contact your organization administrators to have another invitation link sent to you, okay? But we all know that you're going to complete that invitation request within 24 hours. So you'll complete that form, add some information. If you have an RSA token, you'll add the serial token number there to connect the RSA token to your account. And you will submit that form. A notification will be sent to the organization administrators in your organization that they need to approve a request for an account to be created. They will go in, a second organization administrator, that's the person in blue, will go in and approve that request. Unless there's something wrong, maybe your name was spelled incorrectly or there's some other problem with the request, they will reject it and then you'll start over. But 99% of the time, they're gonna approve that request and your account has been created. They will immediately proceed, you see the little blue person again, to request a functional role assignment for you. So they're going to request functional roles, and then a notification goes to the other organization administrators for someone to go in and approve that functional role request. After they have approved that functional role request, those request approvals go to the operations administrator at the Bank of New York Mellon, where on a daily basis, they will acknowledge or finalize those requests, okay? And then and only then will you as an end user be able to access MyGinnieMae and the business applications that you need as part of your functional role? You will know that those actions have been completed because you will receive 2 emails. One is an email that welcomes you to MyGinnieMae, establishing your new account and telling you you can log in. The second email is a notification of functional roles. Anytime a functional role has been assigned to you or has been finalized by the operations administrator, you will receive an email telling you that you have received a functional role and which functional role you have received, okay? So, as you can see, there are a lot of steps here involved in getting you an account and providing you a functional role. It is not an instantaneous process. It does take time because there are many moving pieces and people involved. So please do understand that and know that this is the workflow that needs to be followed in order for you to receive access to MyGinnieMae and its business applications. Next slide. So now we're going to give you a video demonstration of what you do when you receive that email so that you can create your account. And then what happens after all of these steps in the onboarding workflow have been completed so that you can actually log into the portal and access business applications.
The user shall begin by navigating the registration invitation email that you see on this screen, which is from do-not-reply_access@ginniemay.gov. And in the message, there will be a registration link, as you can see. This will open up a web browser in a window and will take you to the new user registration form. Now, do note there are times when you are blocked from opening a browser. You will have to manually copy the link and paste it to your desired browser. So here we'll go to our browser and paste the URL. Okay, so now you guys can see the new user registration form, and there are several fields in this form will already be populated with information, as you can see, and it's grayed out. Users should double check this information to make sure that the name and the email address is correct, and if not, please notify the operations admin to resend a registration with the correct information. Now, here you will be able to enter your title. In this case, it's Mr., but you can change it to your preference. Then we enter our work number. You will then be able to enter your mobile phone number, which is optional. Then you enter your password, and you confirm your password. Now, please note, if you have a RSA token issued with GinnieMae Business System, you will want to select Yes to the RSA token indicator and enter the token serial number in the corresponding field. If you do not have a token or access to the token serial number at the time, you can select No. And before moving on, you would then have to agree to the terms and conditions and select the box and go over the rules and behaviors. And once you agree, you click Yes and accept the privacy policy. And once you agree, you click Yes. And once that's done and you're satisfied with the information you have on the screen, you can now go ahead and click Finish. Now, to log into MyGinnieMae, please navigate on the URL, enter my.ginniemay.gov using the browser of your choice. Once you land on MyGinnieMae page, you will then enter your username and password. And this is the user email address and password that was established during the registration form we just seen. Here, once we click Login, you will land onto the multi-factor authentication page where you must enter your one-time PIN or OTP. Now, do note the first time you enter, your OTP will be sent to your email address. As you can see here, we do have a second option which says to enter through one-time PIN from Oracle Mobile Authenticator. This is when the user is registered with the Oracle Mobile Authenticator application. So we will select 1. And once we select our desired method of our OTP delivery, we then enter our one-time PIN. Now do know, if you are not registered with OMA, you do have the option to register through the Oracle Mobile Authenticator instructions that you see here. So here you can see when you enter your one-time PIN, this is the page we will enter. And if it's your first time entering the system, please note you are required to select your home organization. And you do this by clicking under your name. And once you click, you will then have a drop-down with your issuer ID. And you will select that. And once you do, the page will refresh and you will see the information that we currently see on the system now. Here you will have your banner that you see on this screen, and the carousel, which will rotate to give you crucial information from the system, and other necessary details below. For example, your pool data, or we have other widgets with information specific to you and your needs. Over here, we will also have the option to single sign on to their business applications. And again, this is based on your role in your organization. So if you do have access to GinnieNet, you will click on Tools, and from the drop-down, you will have the option to click on GinnieNet. And once you click on GinnieNet, you will be taken to GinnieNet page. And the same goes for GMAP1 application. So if you are to, say, do reporting, you can click on RFS and it'll single sign you on to GMAP1 to the appropriate application.
Okay. Give us just a second and we'll transition back to the PowerPoint presentation. All right. So here are a few tips on getting started for the first time, okay? So again, please use the Getting Started user manual. There are very good step-by-step instructions in that manual, as well as quick reference cards in section 7 that will help you through these processes. Those quick reference cards are also housed on the GinnieMae website for your convenience. But the first time you log into MyGinnieMae, so you've already completed the new user registration form and you've received your emails welcoming you to MyGinnieMae. The first time you log in, you must go to My Profile and select your issuer ID. This will make sure that the business applications are populated properly. Please go in, and there are instructions on this in the Getting Started user manual. The very first time you log in, you will need to go to My Profile, and select your issuer ID in order for those business applications to populate properly, okay? Also, do not bookmark the login page where you enter your username and password. There's a screen before that that we call the public landing page at my.ginniemae.gov. You want to bookmark that page instead for 2 reasons. Number 1, there is a banner that is on that page that will give you key information about the portal. If there are any updates, if there are going to be outages, there's information that is posted to that banner that you are going to want to access. The other reason why, even more importantly, is that bookmarking the login page has been known to create navigational errors for our users, meaning they have not been able to log in properly when using that page, when they're bookmarking that page. So it is highly advisable that instead you bookmark my.ginniemae.gov, and from there is a button that says log in that will take you to the page where you enter your username and password, okay? So also, if we did not already mention it, and I don't think that we did, the compatible browsers for MyGinnieMae are Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, and Firefox. That is it. Google Chrome is the preferred browser for accessing MyGinnieMae and the modernized applications. However, you may notice when you're navigating legacy systems, there are some functions such as curtailments that do not pop up unless you are using Internet Explorer. So the bottom line is, as we continue to modernize, more and more of that functionality will be brought into the portal, and Google Chrome will display that functionality the best. But if you are in legacy systems and having some navigational issues or buttons are not popping up for you, you might want to switch your browser and try logging in through Internet Explorer. Also, very, very, very important. I probably should have put this bullet point at the top of the screen. You must have pop-up blockers disabled in your web browser prior to accessing MyGinnieMae. I'm going to say this again. You must disable pop-up blockers in your web browser before you access MyGinnieMae. You will not be able to log into the portal and navigate it properly unless those pop-up blockers are disabled. So please do that before you have a problem, and call the GinnieMae customer support to find out that that is your issue, because it is a very easy way to avoid a lot of problems. I can promise you, you will not be able to navigate the portal properly unless those pop-up blockers are disabled. Okay, next slide. Okay, so a little bit here on what you can do on your own. So you'll see here there are several functions that your organization administrators conduct on behalf of you and your account, a few things that they can assist you with. The only thing that the operations administrator at the Bank of New York Mellon can assist you with is final acknowledgement of your functional role requests. Other than that, you know, it's your organization administrators that do all of the account management and maintenance for you, with the exception of just a few things. You are now able, as an end user, to conduct what's called self-service activities. If you have forgotten your password or you need to reset your password, you're able to do this on your own. You don't have to contact anyone, and it doesn't do you any good to contact the operations administrator, because they certainly can't help you when you're logging in through MyGinnieMae. You will go to the MyGinnieMae login page if you've forgotten your password and select the forgot password link. All of this is an automated process using your email to help you establish a new password and get you functioning in the portal. Again, you've experienced this, you know, in your daily lives when you forget passwords in other portals and applications. You're able to manage that on your own, and now you can do that in MyGinnieMae as well. You're also able to deregister with the Oracle Mobile Authenticator. If you have registered to have an OTP delivered to a smart device and you change your smart device, you get a new phone or tablet, you're going to have to deregister the Oracle Mobile Authenticator. And you can do that in very easily on your own in MyGinnieMae by selecting a button under my profile that says deregister. So you can do that on your own, and you are also able to update some of your account attributes. If you have a new business title, if you have a new phone number, you can update those attributes on your own. You are allowed to enter an avatar if you'd like to add a picture of yourself. You can do all of that. It makes it, the portal allows you to make those changes in my profile on your own. Now, you will not be able, if you do not enter an RSA token when you submit your new user registration form, you will not be able to go back in on your own and add that number. You will need to contact an organization administrator to help you add that RSA token to your profile. But like I said, your phone number, your business title, those sorts of things you can update on your own. Next slide. So let's talk a little bit about the Oracle Mobile Authenticator. And so now that we're going to start requiring an OTP in order to get into the portal, you have a couple options here. You can have that OTP delivered to your corporate email address, or you can have that OTP delivered to a smart device. I highly, highly, highly recommend that you register with the Oracle Mobile Authenticator, and here is why. We have heard that users have delays in receiving the OTP email that have absolutely nothing to do with MyGinnieMae. Sometimes your individual organizations may have restrictions and firewalls that delay the delivery of emails, automated emails, or completely block them. And that OTP, once it is sent, is only valid, that email OTP is only valid for 10 minutes. If it is delayed in getting to you and it is expired before you get it, you will not be able to log into MyGinnieMae. When you register with the Oracle Mobile Authenticator, each time you log into the portal, you choose if you want that OTP sent to your email or if you want it delivered or generated on your smart device. Every single time you log in, you have that option, and you can change your mind from one login to the next. But at least if there is a problem with receiving that OTP email, you will still be able to log into the portal and its business applications if you have access to the Oracle Mobile Authenticator. Okay, waiting until you have a problem with the delivery of an email OTP is too late. So I recommend that very early on, as you have established your account, you register with the Oracle Mobile Authenticator so that at a minimum you have it as a backup plan. I personally prefer to use the Oracle Mobile Authenticator to receive my OTP. It is faster. You can do whatever you choose. Just know that the instructions for getting set up with the Oracle Mobile Authenticator are in the Getting Started user manual. And there is a quick reference card that is posted on the GinnieMae website for how you do that. One key important thing I will note is that there is more than one Oracle Mobile Authenticator application that is in your store if you're in Google, depending on what device you have, or your if you have an iPhone. You want to grab the one that is red, not green, red. So there's a picture of the icon here on the screen. Make sure that this is the icon that you are searching for when you register with that Oracle Mobile Authenticator and download the application to your smart device. Next slide. Okay, a couple of FAQs about MyGinnieMae. So this one is about logging in to GMAP 1.0 and GinnieNet without going through the portal. Actually, they're both about logging into GMAP and GinnieNet directly without going through the new MyGinnieMae portal. I need you to know that it is important that you as an end user establish and begin using your MyGinnieMae account for several reasons. If you go back and forth between MyGinnieMae, logging into MyGinnieMae using your new credentials and logging into our legacy systems using your old credentials, if you keep going back and forth, you can create some problems and some navigational issues for yourself. So we discourage you from using those old credentials once your MyGinnieMae account has been established, okay? The other reason I discourage you from doing that is that MyGinnieMae is a more secure portal and a more secure way of doing business. We are all currently working remotely on our own wireless internet or internet connections. Hackers are aware of this and it becomes more important now than ever to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to protect our business transactions. MyGinnieMae is a more secure way of doing business. I encourage you to begin to establish your accounts and to use them for those reasons, okay? Now, how long will you have access to directly log into those legacy accounts before we disable them? There is a 90-day target date. For my folks that are in wave 5, my document custodians, what that means is August 10th at the latest, your old credentials will be removed and you will have to go through MyGinnieMae to access our business applications, such as GinnieNet, okay? So please begin to establish those accounts and use them now before that deadline, because waiting until the end could prove to be problematic for you if you have any trouble getting access to MyGinnieMae. You want to know that you can establish that account, get your functional roles straightened out, and log into those business applications long before we hit that 90-day target date, okay? So please do not go back and forth between legacy or your old credentials and your new credentials, and make sure that you're employing those new credentials as soon as possible so that you can adopt the portal, begin to, you know, work out any kinks that you might have, although most users do not have kinks, and get that worked out long before we hit that 90-day target date. The other thing that I will mention here, every 90 days, you must log into the portal and you must reset your password. If you at day 80, you will begin to receive email notifications reminding you to do so, and you will receive them every day until that 90-day mark. Here's what happens if you go 90 days without logging into MyGinnieMae. On day 90, your account is disabled and your functional roles are removed. If on day 91, you now need access to MyGinnieMae, here's what has to be done. You must contact your organization administrator. They will have to enable your account. They will have to request functional roles. A second organization administrator will have to approve those functional roles, and the operations administrator will have to finalize those functional roles before you can access GinnieMae business applications. Assuming that you're trying to get in there quickly and urgently to conduct business, it's not going to happen urgently and quickly. You never want your access to go 90 days inactive. Please make sure that once your MyGinnieMae account has been established, you are logging in every 90 days to maintain your system access and your functional roles, okay? Next slide. Okay, so there are several resources out there for you as end users to help you navigate MyGinnieMae. I already told you about the user manual. There are quick reference cards. This training overview and others are available on the modernization page. If we add any training dates, they'll be available there. There is one more training scheduled for organization administrators on how to manage end user accounts in the portal that will happen on May 11th. 11th. The call details are published there, as well as the recordings from each of these sessions, all posted on the modernization page of GinnieMae.gov. If you go to GinnieMae.gov and you hover over issuers, a menu will open up and you'll see issuer training. Underneath issuer training is a section called modernization. That is where you will find this, this Pandora's box of information and resources. The other thing that I should mention is every Thursday, we host at this same time, we host listening sessions. So starting again next Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern time, myself and technical experts will be on the line to take your questions. If you want to hear what's happening in the portal, if you want latest information, if you have questions, you want to hear from your peers about what's happening in the portal, if you just want to provide us some feedback about how it's going, Thursdays, 2 p.m. Eastern time through the month of May, we will be hosting listening sessions to collect that feedback and get you that information. You're welcome to join us. The call details for the weekly listening sessions are posted on the modernization page of the GinnieMae website. If you have technical questions about accessing the portal and how to use the applications in the portal, you're welcome to contact GinnieMae customer support. Their information is there. 1-833-GNMA-HELP is the new phone number. You're welcome to ask them questions about how to access the portal. Just know that they're not going to be able to conduct any actions on your behalf for your account. That is for your organization administrator, but you are welcome to ask these folks some technical questions if you do have those. If you have general questions about training, user materials, your target dates for getting into MyGinnieMae, please reach out to the customer experience group at cxg@hud.gov, and we're happy to answer those general questions there. Okay. So we are about to open up for question and answer, but before we do that, Ian is going to post a link in the chat box. And there is where you will access the feedback survey for today. I strongly encourage you, I beg you actually, please complete this feedback survey. We take your feedback very seriously. The results of these surveys make it all the way to the president of GinnieMae, and we use this information to improve our presentations and to provide you the information that you need, as well as consider additional training that might be necessary to assist you. So please do take a moment to complete that feedback survey. Again, if you go to the chat, you're going to see a link that Ian has posted to everyone. Please complete that survey. Now, we're going to open it up for a question and answer. There are several ways you can participate. The bottom of your screen, there is an opportunity for you to raise your hand. If you raise your hand, it indicates that you want us to unmute your line so that you can answer a question over your computer audio. So if you join today's session using the audio on your computer, go ahead and raise your hand at the bottom of the screen to let us know you would like to ask a question. If you would like to type a question, at the bottom of your screen is a Q&A. Select Q&A. Type your question in there and we will read it out loud and answer your question that way. So again, you can hit raise your hand if you'd like to ask the question over the computer audio. You can hit Q&A and type it into that Q&A box if you would like to type your question. If you join today's session over the phone, you are able to hit *9, and that will indicate for us that you would like us to unmute your line so that you can ask a question over the phone. So go ahead right now. You can take any one of those actions, *9 on your phone, raise your hand on your computer audio, or type it into the Q&A, and we will answer any questions that you might have now. So while I've got a chance, I've got Wade Gale and Tawhid Ali on the line. Anything that you want to add to today's presentation, Wade and Tawhid? Hey, Wade, I need you to wake up.
I'm here. Just, I always mess up with this phone. Oh, just one thing, Letitia. we had mentioned, I just want to make sure if the custodians are on the line, we had mentioned 11702, and that is not something we actually look at when we are trying to bring on a org admin on for GenNet. There's no, not GenNet, for MyGinnieMae. There's no 11702, so that they don't have that official document that we have to review authorized signers. It's a little bit different in their space. Another thing, when you're selecting, when you get on that page, that dashboard, you're actually, if you have multiple custodian number, if you only have one custodian number, you're going to select your custodian number actually, not your issuer number. So just for the custodians that are on the line. And that's about it for now.
Okay, let me clarify. I have a question to clarify. So you're referring to the first time they log into the portal, or are you referring? Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought.
First time.
Mm-hmm. So the first time that you log into the portal, Ian, can you back up a couple slides to our tips? There we go. So we do say this top bullet that the first time you log into MyGinnieMae, you should select your issuer ID. Wade, that's the point you're attempting to clarify, correct?
Yes, please. Yes, that's the one. Yeah.
Okay. You're selecting your custodian ID.
Right.
Thank you.
Because you'll get one person who dialed in area code 805. Last four digits are 7767. You can go ahead.
Thank you. This is Maria from Bank of America. Wade, you actually answered my question. That was my question, was because we're a custodian, do we also select user ID or custodian, issuer ID or custodian ID?
Yes.
Yes, the custodian ID.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome, Maria.
Mm-hmm. That's a great question. I'm glad that you asked that, and Wade, that you brought that up. That's a very important point. Any other questions?
That was the only question. Nope, that was the only call in.
Okay. All right. So once again, *9 if you're on a phone line and would like to ask a question. You can raise your hand from the bottom of your screen or type it into the Q&A. Oh, and I just got one through the Q&A. So what if we have two custodian IDs? It says, for instance, for BCP plans. Wade, which ID or custodian ID do they select the first time that they log in?
You want to select the one that you're using every day on a regular basis. This sounds like somebody from U.S. Bank, because they always do those plans. So you just select the custodian that you're going to work in on a regular basis. Most of the time, you're using one custodian to do your processing anyway.
Yep. Okay, another good question. Yep, you're welcome, Shalimar. Okay. Any other questions? Feel free to type them into that Q&A box. Hit *9 on your phone line or raise your hand from the bottom of your screen. Ian, can you go ahead and take us back to the resources slide where that contact information is? Thank you.
And can I just say one thing again, Letitia? Just in case the custodians are on the session and you realize that, oh, I need to add a new person as an org admin, all you have to do is just get in touch with us at BNY Mellon at the customer support desk. You can send us an email at genmay1@bnymellon.com, or you can call the available number, and we will send a form over to you so you can fill out and send back to us, so you can add that additional org admin if you need to add more than one, add new org admin to the current admins that you currently have. So that I just want to make sure I pass that on too.
All right. Okay, Ian, do we have any other questions on the line?
Nope, nothing else at this time.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you to Wade Gale and Tawhid Ali for the demonstration and for assisting us in the Q&A. If you have questions, again, the contact information for GinnieMae customer support as well as the customer experience group are here on this slide, and you can go to GinnieMae.gov, hover over the Issuers tab, and then drop down under Issuer Training to Modernization. And this training deck, along with the user manuals and the recording from today's session, will be posted there. Okay? Thank you, everyone. Stay healthy, be safe.
Thanks.